blowing at the J. Got the loud jumping at the bag. Everything I'm on slap. Everything I do is got the band jumping at the bag. Vibe blowing at my J. Got the loud jumping at the bag. Everything I'm on slap. Everything I do is got the band jumping out the bag. Another milestone, look at that. Paper boy on my paper route till I'm 6 down on my back. I'm an old soul like my dad. My old girl's still a fan. Yo girl at the live show, so don't act like I ain't the man. I'm kicking my feet up, get frank like Aretha. I'm calm but I'm teed up, just flip me a stack. The Rio just doubled up off of the muscle, I stuck to the task. They see me, I'm troubled, I'm bubbling up till it's stuck. And they want me to stay where I'm at. I'm good everywhere that I'm stepping, my presence is crucial. You know that this shit not no trend. On a big wave, I'm controlling the tide. Snake eyes when you rolling the dice. So with the stakes inside, I can never take another nigga advice. They can't reach the sky, I'm aiming up high. I just wanna know what it's like. Y'all know what it's like, I come from outside of this. Out the quicksand, I'm the big man, doing big things. Cop a big change, up a state lines, doing stage dives on cam. Get my good side. It ain't no limit to my vision. Check the temp, I'm on fire with it. Got the bands jumping out the bag, Prosecco on ice. I'm nobody nice, gonna run up a check. Demand my respect. I'm doing the most, I never quit. They want me to quit. I'm good as it come, I'm good as it gets. Vibe blowing at the J. Got the loud jumping out the bag. Everything I'm on slap. Everything I do is got the band jumping out the bag. Vibe blowing at my J. Got the loud jumping out the bag. Everything I'm on slap. Everything I do is got the band jumping out the bag. Vibe blowing on the J.
She might be what I need. She gets spicy, want taste test, come bite me. Yeah, I'm icy, way too icy. I get paper, on big screen, I'm spiky. I'm vibing, just vibing. Too wavy, I could tell they wanna get like me. Yeah, I'm vibing, vibing. Too wavy, come and get like me. I'm never living a bit and I'm timid, straight shooter. I'm dumping the clip that I'm dipping. Hitting the mark with the weightiest art. I rage with my heart and it's right with my wrists. Cut up the pay with the real ones. I see a few million. We want it, we need it, let's get it. Long live the niggas that get it. They live how they say it. A sentence, we really the trillest. Please don't pretend with that love that you send it is fuck if you like me. I call me the Bennett. Somebody tell God forgive me, I'm sinning. I think that she know, but he got me, I'm winning. Cloud is a dangerous drug and your phone is the plug. Everybody on that shit pretending. So many lost and they chasing what's trending. Boy, yeah, let's forget it. I'm back to my senses. I'm only helping a man in the mirror. From here on, I'm open, I'm focused. Okay, I lied if you riding, I'm riding. I put on the pokes and trusting me. Get with it, come fuck with me. I don't bet it's love, you stuck with me. I'm coming and clutch for me. Get with it, they get lost, ain't nobody touching me, yeah. She like me, she might be what I need. She get spicy, want taste test, come bite me. Yeah, I'm icy, way too icy. I get paper, on big screen, I'm spiky. I'm vibey, just vibey, too wavy. And she and they won't get like me. I'm vibey, just vibey, too wavy. Come and get like me. She like me, she might be what I need. Too icy, way too icy. I get paid, a big screen, I'm spiky. I'm vibey, just vibey, too wavy. I can tell they wanna get like me. I'm vibey, just vibey, too wavy. Come and get like me.
Before you tell me that I've changed a lot, take a minute to consider a lot has changed me.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. Hopefully everybody is doing great. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me or things are looking and sounding kind of bad, blurry, or cloudy, please give me a thumbs down. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who's in the building early, all right? Shout out to Katsy. It's good to see you. Make sure you guys show Katsy some love and do exactly like what she's saying. Make sure that you guys do not forget to hit the like button on your way in. Throw some flames in the chat for her for enforcing the likes. Shout out to my man, Jay Bird. Jay Bird, make sure that you comment after a video so that I can get you together with your wrench. Shout out to DC Precise. Shout out to AB Promotions. And shout out to Tedra, all right? It is good to see each and every one of you. So got 2 episodes of Undocumented. You know what I'm saying? Got another one coming up at midnight. You know what I'm saying? We are going to talk about some interesting things in this one, though, because Greg Abbott has began his initiative to stop Tren De Aragua and their infiltration of Texas, because that's going down. I don't know if you guys recall, but there was a video on BLR1 discussing the sightings and issues that people in Texas are having with the Venezuelan prison gang Tren De Aragua. All right. Also, what we're going to talk about are some more issues that are going on in Springfield. All right. And we're going to talk about some issues that are going on elsewhere in Ohio. As a matter of fact, we're going to start with that written in.
In Portage County, Ohio, near Cleveland, the local sheriff is urging residents to take down the addresses of supporters of Vice President Kamala Harris, suggesting he would send undocumented residents to live with them if Harris wins the election. Democrats describe the sheriff's statements as intimidating, and some Republicans aren't happy with him either. Morgan Trow with Scripps News Cleveland has more.
There's controversy in Portage County as residents say they're now afraid to put up yard signs, all because of a Facebook post from law enforcement.
Why would I want to put something in my yard to be targeted for?
Portage County voter David Lindvay says he won't be putting up his Kamala Harris for president sign anymore. Neither is Sheila Longmire.
Saying that he wanted to know the address of everybody that's supporting her, that's crazy. That's scary.
They both say that their county sheriff is trying to intimidate them. On September 14th, Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski posted on both his personal and professional Facebook pages saying, "When people ask me what's going to happen if the flip-flopping laughing hyena wins, I say write down all the addresses of the people who had signs in their yards."
I should be able to vote for who I want to vote for.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many of you all agree with that as a method? If you guys agree with that as a method, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with that as a method, give me a thumbs down.
Without my safety being violated.
Zukowski, a Republican running for re-election, continued in his viral post. "So, when the illegal human locust, which she supports, need places to live, we already have the addresses of their new families who support."
Hey, this dude went in. He called them illegal human locusts. That's wild.
Their arrival.
Do I have to be fear of my life? That's I'm talking with you guys or what? I mean, this is kind of crazy because I'm a different color.
We reached out to Zukowski and the sheriff's office, but didn't hear back. The county GOP chairperson, Amanda Suffolk, sat down with us to defend his perspective.
If he'd have been just boring, no one would be talking about this. So this puts it front and center. Is illegal immigration illegal? And do people within the county, within the state care about it? And indeed they do.
We asked her specifically about his remarks on the VP and immigrants.
He called her a laughing hyena. So there's no racist statement in that.
So again, why is she so focused on race? I don't know if anybody has associated, quote unquote, calling Kamala Harris a laughing hyena. I don't know if anybody's associated that with race. I didn't know that was a race association. How many of you guys would say that that's a race association? If you guys would say that that's a race association, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would say that it's not a race association, give me a thumbs down.
Of course he did. I mean, we've always had caricatures in politics.
Still, she says this wasn't voter intimidation, just a way to start a conversation.
Is this something that you should be fearful of? And no, he took artistic license, got some attention.
Local officials on each side of the aisle are upset about this and Supacol's response. According to Tony Badalamenti, a Republican county commissioner, there is nothing they can do to hold Zukowski accountable for spreading fear throughout the county.
No commissioner has any authority over any other elected official in a county.
However, he told us he's making a personal decision. He has resigned from his role on the GOP Central Committee, a position he worked at with Zukowski.
When somebody says something that was just said on Facebook for everybody to be proud to see, that's very disturbing to the people in Portage County. This is the last straw that I just decided that I would walk away.
Now, both Badalamenti and Lenve are going to vote for the Democrat running against Zukowski, John Barber.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to vote for somebody that violates my privacy.
In Kent, I'm Morgan Shroud reporting.
In Portage.
All right, so there's that. All right, and shout out to Kent. You know what I'm saying? I used to live there. So let's check this out real quick. It's another video about this same situation. Let's see what we got. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed that like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and share this stream to your social media. Now, let me ask you guys a question. In Portage County, right? Let's just say, for instance, you were somebody who decided to not vote, or if you were a no voter. My question is, do you guys think that he would still send the illegal migrants to go live with you? If you guys think that he would, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys think that he would not, then give me a thumbs down.
There's a new controversy brewing in Portage County. The sheriff there posted what some would say are shocking comments surrounding the election and immigration.
19's Harry Boomer is outside Portage County Sheriff's Office, and Harry has details and the reaction.
We all have freedom of speech, but should an elected official post derogatory comments on his personal Facebook page? I'll let you hear the comment as read by a resident here in Portage County and get his reaction to it. We're here to speak with the sheriff.
Okay, just a minute.
Thank you. A short time later, this gentleman came to the door.
Let me just talk to him first, and then just leave him that mic, and I'll talk to you, and then we'll...
No, sir.
Okay.
The mic is part of who I am. He kindly said that Sheriff Bruce Zukowski was not in and that his department would send me a statement.
I'm not a fan of the Portage County Sheriff to begin with.
Martin Brimlett has lived in his Portage County house for more than 30 years. I asked him to read in total what Sheriff Zukowski posted on his Facebook page.
When people ask me what's going to happen if the flip-flop and laughing hyena wins, I say write down all the addresses of the people who had her signs in their yards. So when the illegal human locusts, which she supports, need places to live, we'll already have the addresses of their new families who supported their arrival.
What do you think about that?
Not much. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Portage County Sheriff to begin with. Doesn't surprise me that it would be something he would say.
Surprisingly, we didn't see a lot of political yard signs until we turned onto the street where Brimlett lives. There, we found both signs for the Harris Walls campaign and for former President Donald Trump.
If he wants my address, he's welcome to come over and get it. And I certainly won't be supporting him in November, I can tell you that.
Both former President Donald Trump and Sheriff Zukowski are running for re-election.
My neighbors, most of them have lived here for a long time. They know I'm a Democrat. And so I guess they've accepted the fact that I'm going to have signs for Democratic candidates in my front yard.
That statement I was promised from the Portage County Sheriff's Office has not come through yet. Sheriff Zukowski, I'm still waiting. In Portage County, I'm Harry Boomer, 1980.
People don't mess with the police in Ohio, man. These police in Ohio is something else. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to Governor Mike DeWine because he returned to Springfield, all right, today. And that was after he placed state troopers at schools in the city. Now, the reason why state troopers have been put at schools in the city is because of all of the bomb threats and all of the threats of violence that they have been getting recently as a result of backlash from the ongoing issues with the migrants. All right, so let's check this out.
All new at 4 for second day in a row, Governor Mike DeWine providing an update on the extra security now in place in Springfield, Ohio. Today, 2 more schools in the community faced bomb threats. Both were hoaxes. This comes as the town continues to face threats after false claims of migrants eating pets. The comment sparking national attention after last week's presidential debate.
Well, today, Governor DeWine was joined by the Ohio Department of Health and the Department of Public Safety. Together, they addressed issues caused by what the governor calls a surge in migrants in the city.
CTV's Colin Dorsey back in Springfield today with an update on how the community is grappling with this national spotlight. Colin.
Right. Some people in this community, Haitian or not, are scared. As you mentioned, another threat was called into one of the high schools today. And the Springfield City School Superintendent says even with that threat, today was the closest to a normal school day they've had.
So now here's my question. Why do you guys think that so many bomb threats are being called in? What's the point of that? Do you guys think that does that help anything? Is that going to improve any situations, or is that going to make anything worse? If you ask me, calling in the bomb threats, it's just going to make things worse. It's not going to help anything. It's not how you go about dealing with a problem like this. I don't know who thinks that that's a good idea. I don't know why people think that it's a good idea. I don't know how it's justified, but it keeps happening. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. We got 16 people watching, and we got 16 likes. We are on the 1-to-1, so shout out to everybody for getting on that 1-to-1 early. Let's try to stay on it, and let's also try to get the likes to 36. Or to 32. If everybody can throw them 100s in the chat, that would be great. I really appreciate it. Let's get it.
In a week. However, with the added law enforcement inside Springfield City Schools, some parents still keeping their kids home from class. Attendance was down today, and teachers and students were noticeably upset about the events of this past week. The governor in a news conference that ended just about 20 minutes ago says they have enough resources in the schools that parents should feel safe sending their kids back to class.
We are going to continue the protocol that we started this morning. We will continue this protocol as long as it is necessary. So you can be assured that we will have troopers there. We will have troopers who are visible.
We'd like those that on the national stage that can bring peace, that can tamper their words and speak truth. That's what Springfield is asking. We need peace. We need help, not hate.
And there have been rumblings that former President Donald Trump could make an appearance in Springfield later this week or next. The mayor of Springfield saying that either candidate coming to the community right now would put a significant strain on resources that are already stretched thin, and both should consider not coming.
So there's that. They don't want them to come. They don't want either candidate to come to Springfield. They just want to get back to normal life. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your boy, Leonel Moreno. How many people know who Leonel Moreno is? Leonel Moreno is this guy right here. Migrant influencer Leonel Moreno, who encouraged migrants to be squatters, has been ordered deported. But what they're saying is that it's not likely that he will get kicked out of the country. So why do you guys think that he won't end up getting kicked out of the country? We're going to find out. Migrant influencer Leonel Moreno, who went viral on TikTok for encouraging illegal border crossers to squat in U.S. homes, was ordered deported by an immigration judge. But he likely won't be kicked out of the country anyway because of a diplomatic row. An Ohio-based immigration judge ordered the 27-year-old Venezuelan migrant, who also waved around wads of cash on social media and flaunted what he said were U.S. government handouts, to be removed from the United States on September 9th, according to Homeland Security sources. Now, let me ask you guys this question. This dude is Venezuelan, and he was waving around all that money. How many people think that there's a possibility this dude could be linked in with Tren De Aragua? Shout out to Shatera. What's good with it, Shatera? If you guys think that there's a possibility that this guy could be linked in with Tren De Aragua, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think so, then give me a thumbs down. Moreno crossed the southern border illegally into Eagles Pass on April 23rd of 2022. All right, look at him with the look. He bought a baby cash. You know what I'm saying? Like Tron. He was released into the country, but failed to appear for required check-ins with immigration and customs enforcement, leading to his arrest in Columbus, Ohio. Now, mind you, he had time to make all this TikTok content, and he posted on TikTok, and he was going around giving people advice on how to illegally extort the United States. But for whatever reason, he wasn't able to make his appointment to be able to stay into the country lawfully. So that shows what type of priorities this guy had. You know what I'm saying? But despite the judge's decree, a halt on deportation flights to Venezuela could hinder the order. How many people were aware that there's been a halt on Venezuelan flights? We're going to look into that a little bit more. We're definitely going to look into that a little bit more. Seems like people are now aware of Tren De Aragua. And what ends up happening is that Venezuela has halted flights of deported migrants from U.S. and Mexico. Interesting. Earlier this year, President Nicolas Maduro's administration stopped accepting flights of migrants deported from the U.S. and Mexico in retaliation for Washington reimposing economic sanctions on the South American country, the Wall Street Journal reported. How many people were aware that that had went down? If you guys were aware that that went down, give me a thumbs up. If you guys were not aware that that went down, give me a thumb. If you guys were aware that that went down, give me a thumbs up. If you were not aware that that went down, give me a thumbs down. The U.S. said Caracas has failed to restore democratic order, the outlet explained. The almost weekly flights from the U.S. to Venezuela came to a halt in late January, U.S. officials told the Journal. President Nicolas Maduro's administration followed through on its threats to delete an agreement reached last October for flights to go into the country after the U.S. reimposed economic sanctions on the country, saying Caracas had failed to restore democratic order, the outlet explained. So when they say failed to quote unquote restore democratic order, I'm assuming they're talking about their election. The candidate that the United States was interested in and invested in did not secure the presidential position, and they're saying that there was quote unquote election interference, and I'm assuming that that's what they're talking about. There are also no direct commercial flights from the U.S. to Venezuela after the Department of Transportation suspended them in 2019, citing reports of unrest and violence. So there you go with his baby that he bought straight cash, looking kind of, Meanwhile, a new wave of migrant crime from the Venezuelan gang Tren De Aragua has emerged in the United States, including in New York City, where a 19-year-old gangbanger was accused of shooting 2 police officers in June. And you guys recall the higher-ups in that gang put the green light out for this gang to be violent toward police here in the United States. Moreno isn't linked to the gang, to their knowledge, right? But still, he has used his large social media following to encourage migrants from his home country to invade abandoned houses while boasting about the support they could receive from the United States government. I didn't cross the Rio Grande to work like a slave, Moreno said in one Instagram clip, while waving around $100 bills. Moreno also admitted to using his 1-year-old U.S. citizen baby as a prop in his viral posts, one of which was taken at the hospital after his daughter's birth. Now, let me ask you guys this question about his daughter's birth. How much money do you think he spent on his daughter's birth? Next question. How much money do you think taxpayers spent on his daughter's birth? Okay. He bragged that he and his wife didn't pay anything to have their daughter, thanks to Papa Biden. Looking kind of crazy right there. Looking kind of crazy. He's got a YouTube thumbnail friendly face, wouldn't you guys say? If you guys say he's got a face made for YouTube thumbnails, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you guys don't think that he's got a face made for YouTube thumbnails, give me a thumbs down. Intelligence officials investigating Moreno's case have also alleged he was a sergeant of the Venezuelan General Directorate of Military Intelligence, according to sources. So remember, these are these talks where we're talking about quote unquote military age men and the quote unquote allegations of a military invasion. According to these sources here, the sources are saying there's a possibility that he was a sergeant of the Venezuelan General Directorate of Military Intelligence, according to sources. So you'd have to ask, if he had that type of position in the military, why did he come to the United States? Why did he come here? He later claimed in court that he was a rank-and-file soldier in the Venezuelan Navy. Moreno remains in custody at the Geauga County Jail in Ohio, where he's been laying low, Geauga County Sheriff Scott Hildenbrand previously told the Post. The migrant also spoke to the Post from jail in April, where he wailed about being a victim of unjust persecution. I think he set himself up for it. I came here to the United States because of persecution in my country, but they're doing the same thing to me in the United States. They're persecuting me, Moreno moaned. Maybe you kind of asked for it. You know? It's all misinformation in the media about me. They're defaming me. They're misrepresenting me in the news. I'm a good father. I'm a good husband, good son, good person, humble, respectful to people who respect me, he added. I would disagree. It doesn't seem like he was very respectful in some of those posts that he made on his social media to American taxpayers. It seemed like he was extremely disrespectful to American taxpayers. I don't know if you guys saw any of the posts that he made on social media or not, but if you ever get a chance to check him out, you should, because it did not seem like he was very respectful at all. All right. So let me see. I think we might actually save this. How many people heard about the situation on Megyn Kelly's show where there was an alleged quote unquote slippage? If you guys heard about this alleged quote unquote slippage, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't hear about this alleged quote unquote slippage, then give me a thumbs down. There was an alleged slippage. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this, and I'm going to let you guys be the judge of if quote unquote slippage took place. All right. Conservative editor-in-chief appears to use racial slur to refer to Haitian migrants. Now, to anybody that watches The Breakfast Club, which everybody says that they don't watch it, but everybody does watch it, this individual here was the donkey of the day. All right. Rich Lowry, the editor-in-chief of the prominent conservative magazine National Review, quote unquote, appeared to use a racial slur to refer to migrants during an appearance on the Megyn Kelly. And you know, Megyn Kelly was all happy about it. She got all giddy, having a hard time coming to any conclusions besides the obvious one about what Lori catches himself blurting out there, wrote Madeleine Peltz, deputy director of rapid response at Media Matters, who posted the clip to X. All right, so we're going to take a listen to this, and you all let me know what you think went on here.
But finally, he said something to the effect of, look, if we have to create stories in order to bring attention to what's happening, the media, he admits they made it up. Right, as opposed to, and if you listen to the full clip, he says, by drawing attention to what's happening on the ground, it's just
right.
As this
like
line goes online, you don't hate the media enough. Go ahead.
You remember Alternative Facts with Kellyanne? They did the same thing. She wasn't saying you make up fictions and pretend they're facts. You bring other facts to bear in the debate that are being ignored. And that's what he was saying. And I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says,
So now let's just discuss what they're talking about, right? What facts did JD Vance bring? What facts did he bring? Did he bring any facts? It seemed to me like he brought hearsay and statements of allegation and tried to assert them as facts. He didn't bring anything substantiated to either of these interviews, and we'll be taking a look at the interview shortly.
But finally, he said something to the effect of, look, if we have to create stories in order to bring attention to what's happening, the media, he admits they made it up, right? As opposed to, and if you listen to the full clip, he says, by drawing attention to what's happening on the ground, it's just,
right.
As this line goes online, you don't hate the media enough. Go ahead.
You remember Alternative Facts with Kellyanne? They did the same thing. She wasn't saying you make up fictions and pretend they're facts. You bring other facts to bear in the debate that are being ignored. And that's what he was saying. And I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says, the police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds.
Now, did you hear what he said? Now, I'm going to ask you guys, what did he say? What was it that he said? Did he actually say a racial slur and slip up, or did he say something else? I'm going to let y'all run that again. Let me know what y'all think.
And I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says, the police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds. Only 2 calls. And I think one lesson in this whole story, people don't care about geese. People really hate geese. They all things considered, I think people would prefer Haitian migrants to come and take the geese off the golf course, right? So it's pets, it's the cats and dogs has become the standard. Geese clearly don't matter.
I mean, I read online they're protected in Ohio, so you kind of.
So yeah, so there's that. All right. So yeah, you guys can let me know what you think. So now here it says Kelly asked Lowry, who's been at the magazine since 1997, about comments made by J.D. Vance regarding vitriolic and debunked claims that Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, were quote unquote eating neighborhood pets. In a CNN interview on Sunday with Dana Bash, Vance, the Ohio senator and Republican vice presidential nominee, said he was willing to quote unquote create stories so that the American media actually pays attention. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Are there different types of attention that can be paid to these stories? Shout out to AW1. What's good with it, bro? Yeah, AW1 says he got caught with a little bit of slippage. If you guys think that there was some slippage there, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that there was some slippage there, then give me a thumbs down. He admits they made it up, said Kelly, to which Lowry responded, remember Alternative Facts with Kellyanne Conway? They did the same thing. Okay, so he just kind of threw Kellyanne Conway under the bus. They've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian, and then that's where the slur was, migrants taking geese from ponds. He added, however, Lowry's initial pronunciation of the word migrants, which he maintains simply stumbled over, sounded like the N-word to a large number of social media users. While Kelly did not visibly react during the interview itself, because probably she uses the word every other word, Kelly probably said, Megyn Kelly probably says that word more than a quote unquote rapper. She later jumped to Lowry's defense on X, writing in a response to a clip of the show, "This is so disgusting," and obviously leveled by someone that doesn't know Rich Lowry at all. We don't need to know him. We heard what he said. You know what I'm saying? What does that have to do with anything? Fox News contributor Andy McCarthy, who is also a National Review contributing editor, also responded to the controversy, writing on X that Lowry, quote unquote, obviously got crossed up between immigrants, short I, and migrants, long I, and started mispronouncing migrants with short I, and instantly corrected himself with no embarrassment because it was patiently a mispronunciation. I don't think that there's any way that you can make migrants and the N-word or immigration or immigrants sound the same in any type of error that you might make. Shout out to AW1. AW1 says, yo, Rob, that fool Myron just got kicked out of another space by some W racists again. Was Megyn Kelly there? Yo, if you guys can find that space that Myron got kicked out of, shoot it to me in the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Shoot it to me in the Discord. We're going to get at it. Lowry responded on X, yep, this is exactly what happened. I began to mispronounce the word migrants and caught myself halfway through. That's not really that much of a halfway point there. You know what I'm saying? It looks like migrants is only 8 letters. I mean, I you know what I'm saying? In 2 syllables. So I don't know what was going on, but whatever. NPR has reached out to the National Review for comment, but has yet to hear back. The debunked, quote unquote, racially charged claims have not only been touted by Vance, but were brought up by former President Donald Trump during last week's presidential debate, who said in response to a question on immigration, quote unquote, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. You know what I'm saying? And he said it just like this.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the
cat. He said it just like that, you know. So now next what we're going to do is, you know what? Let me see. Actually, maybe let's not do that. Maybe let's not do that. Maybe let's slide that down over here. Let me see what we got now. Next, we're going to do a little bit of a discussion about what's going on in Texas with Tren De Aragua, because apparently it's been bad in Texas with Tren De Aragua. We talked, shout out to Dwayne. What's good with it, bro? Or shout out to David. What's good with it, bro? We talked about in Texas with Tren De Aragua, how they took over that hotel. Apparently, it's been so bad that Greg Abbott has initiated a new gang strike force. All right. We're going to try to get in looking at the entire press conference that Greg Abbott had. All right, we're gonna definitely try to watch the entire thing. Hopefully I'll be able to fit that in either today or, in the next couple of days. It might be something that I do really late at night and then clip it up and post some clips up. So we shall see, but it will be up. But for now, we're going to take a look at what the local news has to say about this situation, all right? So let's take a look real quick. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and share the stream to your social media. All right. Let's see. All right, here we go.
They have a target on their back, and we're going after them. We have one goal, and that is to arrest them and make them understand that Texas is the wrong state for them to be trying to do business in.
Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott speaking on the Venezuelan gang Tren De Aragua yesterday during a news conference. The governor telling reporters about the entry and expansion of the gang in Texas, as well as the efforts to crack down on them.
Governor Abbott specifically mentioned El Paso and the recent shutdown of the Gateway Hotel. Our KTSM 9 News reporter Diana Castillo brings us more.
On Monday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced a statewide operation meant to target the Venezuelan gang Tren De Aragua, or TDA.
We know from what's happening nationally as well as internationally, the seriousness of TDA. We know that if we don't stop this now, it could spread rapidly across our state.
Governor Abbott says he has directed the state's Department of Public Safety to create new strike teams of highway patrol officers, SWAT teams, helicopters, and Texas Rangers to target areas with known TDA activity, El Paso being one of them. In addition to that, the governor says they are working on creating a database that will help identify TDA members.
We are going about the process of establishing that database so we can track them, follow them, and see what their modus of operation is, so that hopefully they will lead to documentation of verified TDA members that also can lead to arrests and putting them behind bars.
Now, during the news conference, El Paso was mentioned as an area with known TDA activity. Abbott adding that more than 20 arrests were made at and around the Gateway Hotel. He says many suspected to be members of Tren De Aragua. The Texas Department of Public Safety Director, Stephen McCraw, calling El Paso ground zero.
That's why El Paso is kind of the center of gravity right now. MS-13, MS-18, it was Houston because of the large relocation of Central Americans in this area. El Paso, Venezuela is really ground zero at that point. One, because they continue to support the Juarez-related gangs involved in smuggling of people across the border.
Now, we reached out to lawmakers on the other side of the aisle, asking about TDA activity in our city. In a statement, Senator Cesar Blanco says, in part, while recent TDA gang-related activity has raised concerns, I am working closely with local law enforcement and state officials to ensure that we remain vigilant on TDA and all gangs.
Well, KTSM also reached out to Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, and her office told us that they're working on a statement regarding the governor's comments.
KTSM also spoke to County Commissioner David Stout, who says a topic like this can put El Paso in a negative light.
Instead of demonizing the border, instead of continuously utilizing this type of rhetoric that damages the border in our community, maybe the governor should advocate for increasing the number of legal pathways for migrants to come to this country. And that way the federal government can focus its resources on any type of criminal element that might be coming across the border.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. How do you feel about his suggestion? I would say that currently in 2024, there are more legal pathways to get into the United States than there has been for a very long time. There are also legal pathways that have been manipulated for political purposes. More of those than there has ever been. As a result, we're dealing with the problems that we're dealing with now. We're dealing with people taking advantage of those pathways, which is why there needs to be reform. There needs to be execution of law enforcement, and there needs to be security of the border. Execution of law enforcement would also be to make sure that people are using legal pathways to come through the proper channels and making that proper channel system more efficient. But to say that there doesn't need to be any border enforcement, to me, is very naive, unproductive, and will continue to create the problems that we're seeing now. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down.
During the briefing, Abbott also signed a proclamation that declares the Tren De Aragua gang a foreign terrorist organization.
Now, it's important to note that back in July, the U.S. Department of Treasury declared TDA a transnational criminal organization that posed a threat to American communities.
All right, so there's that, right? And what's interesting about it is they're not treated that way. So it's just kind of just very interesting. And again, like I said, I've seen content creators who are making content, as well as I've seen certain national news organizations who are saying that this entire story, all of this topic, is just misinformation. It's just disinformation and hoax stories. Okay.
They are the latest snapshots of the challenges from an influx of migrants in this country. Violence inside the same hotel where police say a 14-year-old was raped. El Paso's Gateway Hotel forced to shut down after a lawsuit. The county attorney's office says it was allowing illegal activity, including consuming drugs and gang activity, from members of Tren De Aragua, a Venezuelan gang now declared a foreign terrorist organization by Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
TDA is notorious for their brutal violence and murder, and their kidnapping, extortion, bribery, and trafficking of drugs, weapons, and even humans.
In the state of Ohio, particularly in Springfield, Haitian migrants have relied a lot on public resources, but are also credited with helping the local economy grow.
I met this morning with a number of business people who employ these Haitians, and they tell me that they're really essential, to them getting the job done. They work hard, they're family focused.
More than 200,000 Haitian and 100,000 Venezuelan migrants have arrived legally, along with Cubans and Nicaraguans, for a total of 530,000. All part of the Biden.
Now, these are interesting new numbers. This is through August. The number for Haitians has jumped up significantly. But again, this isn't the total number of immigrants, period. This is just the CHNV parole program. Okay.
Administration's CHNV parole program. Federal agents say they have no way to vet those who are here and mostly rely on the honor system.
If they tell us they're from so-and-so and this is their name, we can't check against Venezuela's database. They're not.
So here's my question. How do you work on an honor system for people that have no documentation to where you're not able to check and verify these things? Let me ask you guys this question. Do you guys think that this is a safe way to do this? If you guys think that this is a safe way to do this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that this is a safe way to do this, then give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I really appreciate you guys. We got 15 people watching. Shout out to y'all. And we have, give me 1 second, 19 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, hit that bell, share the stream to your social media, that would be great. We got 13 live viewers and 19 likes. So to get that 1-to-1, we got to get 6 live viewers.
Say they have no way to vet those who are here and mostly rely on the honor system.
If they tell us they're from so-and-so and this is their name, but we can't check against Venezuela's database. They're not going to give us access to it, so we have to let them go.
The Biden administration's parole program gives migrants temporary protected status. But the former head of ICE told me the agency has neither the resources nor the manpower to follow up with, deport, or even check in on those who came in through the program once their 2-year time period is up.
So now what's the point of border patrol even doing anything with these people then? Think about that. What's the point of border patrol even doing anything with these people? How can they do anything with these people? They have no ability to enforce any kind of law whatsoever. So if anybody was curious as to how these people end up getting back into the country, like, this is how. It seems like they have no jurisdiction to be able to do anything.
In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzau.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now next we're going to take a look at another video. And this video here, for the most part, is just Greg Abbott giving a short statement on what the plan is in Texas as far as Tren De Aragua goes.
To more directly target TDA, I directed DPS to elevate TDA to a tier 1 gang, the worst of the worst, ensuring that DPS deploys the resources that are needed to corral this growing menace. I am officially declaring TDA a foreign terrorist organization. Texas is aggressively going after these foreign terrorist organizations of TDA. I ordered the Texas Department of Public Safety to launch a statewide operation directly targeting TDA to deter and to disrupt the criminal operations in Texas. DPS is collaborating with federal and local law enforcement through the Texas Anti-Gang Centers. Also, I signed laws that provide more than $100 million to support these anti-gang centers over just the next 2 years. But to more directly target TDA, I directed DPS to elevate TDA to a tier 1 gang, the worst of the worst, ensuring that DPS deploys the resources that are needed to corral this growing menace. Also today, I am officially declaring TDA a foreign terrorist organization. We will bring the full weight of the government against the TDA. By declaring TDA a foreign terrorist organization, Texas will use the courts to halt their operations, use civil asset forfeiture to take their property, use enhanced criminal penalties to keep them in jail behind bars for longer periods of time. At this time, I'm going to sign that proclamation. Texas is aggressively going after these foreign terrorist organizations of TDA. Also, I directed the DPS to create a new TDA strike team made of highway patrol officers, DPS special agents, Texas Rangers, SWAT teams, including aircraft, helicopters, and drones, K-9 teams, and intelligence units. These strike teams will collaborate with Texas Anti-Gang Center law enforcement officers to surge resources to areas where known or suspected TDA activity is taking place. TDA is characterized as MS-13 on steroids. TDA is the largest criminal organization in Venezuela.
So you guys see this, the amount of money that's going to go for this. Governor also announced the allocation of over $100 million to support the Texas anti-gang centers over the next 2 years. So my question for you guys is, how effective do you guys think that this will be? Yeah, facts. Shout out to Shatera. Shatera said, freak off the like button. Big facts. All right, so we're going to take another look. All right, let me see.
This is a nonpartisan, bipartisan issue.
On Monday, Governor Greg Abbott says Texas has confirmed the presence of an international gang in the state. It's a Venezuelan gang known as Tren De Aragua, and the Biden administration has already sanctioned its members. During a press conference Monday morning, Abbott says incidents involving Tren De Aragua, known as TDA, have happened across the state, including in Central Texas, North Texas, Houston, and most prominently, El Paso.
El Paso, Venezuela is really ground zero at that point. One, because they continue to support the Juarez-related gangs involved in smuggling of people across the border.
Abbott says that includes more than 20 suspected TDA members arrested at the Gateway Hotel in El Paso, amid allegations it was housing TDA members. He adds that over the course of 2 incidents of migrants rushing the border, more than 100 suspected members were arrested. In response, Abbott is narrowing the state's focus on the international gang by upping the prosecution process and creating a Department of Public Safety strike team. When the federal government sanctioned TDA 2 months ago, they noted that the gang does target migrants, including for human trafficking.
It's important that we communicate, certainly in Spanish, okay, how they can report, certainly to the local law enforcement officials, but also in terms of iWatch, any criminal activity.
Is there any concern that there's other policies or other things going on in Texas that could affect how comfortable migrants feel coming forward to collaborate?
We haven't seen anything like that yet.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now next, I don't know if anybody is aware, but there is a lawsuit that is going on in Colorado. And this lawsuit that's going on in Colorado is in the city of Castle Rock. All right. And it's a very interesting lawsuit because the origins of the lawsuit come from issues that are occurring with the migrant crisis. So we're going to take a look at this last Tren De Aragua video real quick, and then we're going to take a look at what's going on in Colorado, because it's everywhere dealing with this migrant crisis is just out of control.
Well, Tren De Aragua, that's the name of the gang that's been associated with violent crimes popping up across the country. The News 4 I-team has been working to get you answers on how officials will address the threat here in San Antonio. Today, Governor Abbott's press conference addressed just that.
Our top priority is the security and the safety of our fellow Texans.
During today's news conference in Houston, Governor Abbott announced the launch of a new database to consolidate the amount of arrests made of members of the gang Tren De Aragua, who he also designated a terrorist organization.
Today, I'm announcing what Texas is doing to stop the spread of TDA in our state.
For months, News 4 San Antonio has been covering the increasing trend of violent cases in town that are linked to this Venezuelan gang. Arrests of members have already been made in cities like El Paso, and less than a month ago, one individual associated with Tren De Aragua was part of the arrests made for a sex trafficking ring here in San Antonio. The I-team's Jay Avila spoke with a business owner who moved his business away from the Migrant Resource Center out of fear.
I was very concerned for the safety of my employees. Now in my new location, it's not an issue.
We've also worked to get answers from law enforcement experts. We spoke with former Homeland Security agent Ari Jimenez about Tren De Aragua. He told us the situation is serious and will keep getting worse if not addressed.
We started seeing them in the past couple of years coming into the U.S. So unfortunately, within the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to have a very violent gang, Latin American gang, operating in major cities in the U.S.
Well, the governor's actions today will be used to look for existing trends in Tren De Aragua gang members. That includes things like tattoos, crimes, and methods of operations. They will cross-reference those with similar arrests made throughout the state. As the database is implemented, we'll wait and see how effective this will be in stopping the threat. From the newsroom, Ethan Trejo, News 4, San Antonio.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that it wouldn't be a bad idea for all of these states or all of these different areas that are dealing with Tren De Aragua to link up and combine their forces and combine their leads and combine their information to be able to create a nationwide task force that's able to track and get rid of Tren De Aragua? To me, that would be one of the most efficient things that any of these areas that are dealing with Tren De Aragua could do. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like they've done that yet. And one of the reasons why they haven't done that yet is because none of the branches or none of the states that are dealing with these situations get along. And since they don't get along, it makes it very inefficient. And the only people that suffer from those inefficiencies are the people in those states, which, you know, for the most part, a lot of this has been politicized. So really it's the focus on the politician and how things benefit the politician, not so much how it benefits the people of the state.
The topic of immigration has been at the forefront of many people's minds recently. According to the city of Denver, the city has served more than 42,000 people since December 2022. The Denver Asylum Seeker Program, which provides workforce training and legal support services, is currently serving around 850 people. However, some say Denver is seeing too many migrants. Your reporter in Douglas County, Olivia Young, joins us live now tonight. And Olivia, earlier this month, the Castle Rock Town Council voted unanimously to explore suing the city of Denver over its migrant policies. And as you reported, Douglas County already filed a lawsuit.
That's certainly right. That one was against the state of Colorado and Jared Polis. And it's not just Douglas County. El Paso, Elbert, Garfield, Mesa, and Rio Blanco counties are all a part of that lawsuit, which challenges 2 state laws that prevent local governments from cooperating with the federal government on immigration. Now, Castle Rock, Parker, and even Aurora may take similar action. Castle Rock Town Councilman Max Brooks says Denver has had trouble housing newcomers, and they're spilling over into neighboring communities.
This isn't just a decision that Denver gets to make because it's impacting the rest of the Front Range. So the idea is to join with other municipalities and say, it's time to stop.
Brooks put forth the motion directing Castle Rock's attorney to explore a lawsuit against Denver. He says neighboring municipalities have already expressed interest in joining.
Our town attorney office has already had conversations with Douglas County, with the city of Aurora, and also the town of Parker.
It's too early to know what that lawsuit may entail or if Castle Rock would join the existing lawsuit against the state of Colorado. It's not clear how many, if any, migrants are living in Douglas County.
You don't wait until the hurricane is on you to board up your windows and leave town. We understand that there is a storm coming.
But a recent post from the Douglas County...
I don't disagree with this guy. If you guys agree with his logic, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree with that 100%.
Sheriff's Office announcing the arrests of 11 car thieves, listed 3 of them as Venezuelan nationals. It led to widespread concern on social media.
It is happening. We are having issues here in Douglas County. We are having migrants come in here. There have been incidences of crime.
This Castle Rock father told me he's concerned by reports of gang activity in Aurora and believes it could spill over into his community. He supports the town's decision to explore a lawsuit. Brooks has empathy for asylum seekers and says he's not labeling all migrants as criminals.
This isn't about labeling or saying that the migrants need to be deported. It's not about that. It's about stopping and making sure that we're not bringing in any more when obviously Denver is not able to handle what has already happened.
Now, it is a weekend, and we have not yet heard back from the city of Denver on a request for comment. The next step will be attorneys for interested towns and counties getting together and discussing their legal options. Brooks says any other Colorado municipalities are welcome to join in those conversations. Karen?
All right, Olivia, thank you for your reporting. We appreciate it. Olivia is your reporter, your neighbor in Douglas County. She grew up in Castle Rock, graduated from Douglas County High. Her family still lives in Dudco. Olivia, of course, committed to getting answers for them and you. Olivia is just one of your reporters all across the.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now next, what we're about to do is we're going to take a look at another quote unquote case of a criminal migrant. All right. And I think that we've talked about this individual before. When I saw the picture that they had on the thumbnail, it looked familiar. It looked like an individual who was from Boston. And I think that, don't quote me, I think that this individual is a Haitian migrant from Boston that did some pretty foul things to a minor. So let's check this out real quick.
1.3 million migrants have been allowed into the U.S. through two controversial Biden-Harris administration programs. Bill Malusian joins us on that now from our Midwest Bureau. Bill, what do you have? Good morning.
Bill, good morning to you. Record high illegal crossings down at the southern border have obviously been a huge political headache for the Biden administration. So at the start of 2023, they created two new programs to allow migrants to come into the U.S. legally, bypassing Border Patrol entirely. And according to new CBP data, those Biden programs have now allowed more than 1.3 million migrants to come into the U.S. So take a look at this. According to that CBP data, about 530,000 migrants have now flown into the U.S. as part of the Biden administration's controversial mass parole program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. It's called the CHNV program. Now, more than 200,000 of them have been Haitians coming in, and at least two of those Haitians were arrested for sexually assaulting children this year. Take a look. Earlier this month, Haitian national Akeem Mark Desire was arrested for allegedly molesting a 10-year-old boy in Massachusetts.
Now, did they say, how many did they say? How many Haitians committed crimes? I missed that part. Did you guys hear? If you guys heard, put the number in the chat. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media.
30,000 migrants have now flown into the U.S. as part of the Biden administration's controversial mass parole program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. It's called the CHNV program. Now, more than 200,000 of them have been Haitians coming in, and at least two of those Haitians were arrested for sexually assaulting children this year.
Okay, so these are sexual assaults of children. 2 out of 200,000. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is the percentage of sexual crimes in other groups of people higher or lower than the instance of crime with the Haitians? Let me know what you guys think.
Here, take a look. Earlier this month, Haitian national Akeem Mark Desire was arrested for allegedly molesting a 10-year-old boy in Massachusetts. He first flew into the U.S. as part of the CHNV parole program in June of 2023. Then back in March, another Haitian national, Corey Alvarez, was arrested for aggravated child rape. That's after prosecutors say he raped a girl in a migrant hotel outside of Boston. He also flew into the U.S. as part of the CHNV parole program back in June of 2023. Now,
let me ask you guys this question. I know for the most part, most people that watch this channel have heard about that first guy. Did you all hear about the second guy? If you all heard about that second guy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about that second guy, give me a thumbs down.
A second program. According to CBP data, since January 2023, more than 800,000 migrants have now been allowed into the U.S. via the Biden administration's use of the controversial CBP One cell phone app. That allows migrants to book appointments at ports of entry to be released into the U.S. That includes nearly 45,000 migrants last month alone, an average of nearly 1,500 migrants coming in every single day. And this year, Kenal Baptiste, a Haitian national who came into the U.S. in July 2023 via that cell phone app, was arrested in New York and charged with a double murder after he allegedly stabbed two men to death. death. And back out here live, these two programs combined together have been bringing in roughly 70,000 to 80,000 migrants every single month. And those migrants are not counted in Border Patrol data because they are not illegal crossings. So yes, Border Patrol numbers have been down significantly this year, but those numbers are not a true reflection of the amount of people who are being allowed into the country.
Wow.
Bill, we'll send it back to
Okay,
you.
Bill, thanks. Stay on it. I know you will. Bill Malutian in Chicago today. Thank you. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Shoot. Can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. All right, let me see. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this interview. We're going to look at the full interview because we didn't get a chance to finish it yesterday. But we're going to look at the full interview between J.D. Vance and Dana Bash. And we're going to see exactly what went on here.
Thank you for being here, sir. So the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, Rob Rue, said, quote, all these federal politicians that have negatively spun our city, they need to know they're hurting our city. And it was their words that did it. Before Donald Trump talked about eating dogs and cats on a debate stage, it was you, Senator, who first elevated this baseless rumor. These are your constituents. So why are you putting them at risk by continuing to spread claims about Haitian immigrants, despite officials in your state saying that there's no evidence and pleading for you to stop?
Well, Dana, first of all, what's putting the residents of Springfield at risk, which was a town completely ignored by the American media until Donald Trump and I started surfacing some of these concerns, is that they can't afford housing, they can't afford health care. The schools have been overwhelmed, the hospitals have been overwhelmed, and they're overwhelmed because Kamala Harris allowed 20,000 Haitian migrants to get dropped into a small Ohio town of about 40,000 people, and it's completely overwhelmed the services. Now, you ask, why have I talked about some of the things that I've been talking about? Let me just say this. My constituents have brought approximately a dozen separate concerns to me. 10 of them are verifiable and confirmable, and a couple of them I talk about because my constituents are telling me firsthand that they're seeing these things. So I have two options, Dana. I can ignore them, which is what the American media has done for years to this community, or I can actually talk about what people are telling me. And of course, many of the things that the media says are completely baseless have since been confirmed. For example, I was told, Dana, that by the American media that it was baseless that migrants were capturing the geese from the local park pond and eating them. And yet there are 911 calls from well before this ever became a viral sensation of people complaining about that exact thing happening. So my attitude is listen to my constituents. Sometimes they're going to say things that people don't like, but they're saying things that people don't like because their town has been overwhelmed, and it's my job to try to fight for them and to protect them. Kamala Harris opened the border, and now these people are suffering. That's what I'm focused on, Dana.
Senator, I have to go through several things that you just said. First of all, the Clark County Sheriff and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources reviewed 11 months of 911 calls. They only identified 2 instances of people alleging Haitians were taking geese out of parks. They found 0 evidence to substantiate those claims. Also, other evidence that you have talked about, even you've retweeted alleged evidence, are unsourced social media videos from a different city, apparently no connection to Haitians. And this is from a conservative activists who offered a $5,000 reward.
Now, that's the video from Canton that we went over, all right, that they're talking about right there.
For such things. And then going just back to the schools and the hospitals and so forth being overwhelmed, nobody is disputing that the town of Springfield, Ohio needs help. But you're not just a bystander, you're the senator from Ohio. So instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs thing, why not actually be constructive in helping to better integrate them into the community? Because there are a lot of employers there who say that the Haitian workers are helping fill jobs that they need desperately filled.
Dana, first of all, let me just respond to a couple of things that you said, but I want to start with something you said, which I think is frankly disgusting and is more appropriate for Democratic propagandists than it is for an American journalist. There is nothing that I have said that has led to threats against these hospitals. These hospitals, the bomb threats and so forth, it's disgusting. The violence is disgusting. We condemn it. We condemn all violence.
Senator, this happened after you and President Trump were on the debate stage, said that cats and dogs were being eaten.
You asked a question, Dana, and I'm going to go ahead and answer it. What we have said is that this town has suffered terribly under the policies of Kamala Harris. Now, you just accused me of inciting violence against the community when all that I've done is surface the complaints of my constituents, people who are suffering because of Kamala Harris's policies. Are we not allowed to talk about these problems because some psychopaths are threatening violence? We can condemn the violence on the one hand, but also talk about the terrible consequences of Kamala Harris's open border on the other hand. Now, let me just fact check a couple of other things that you said, Dana, because it's important. You said that all of these migrants are in the country legally. They're in the country through what's called temporary protective status.
Right.
That is when Kamala Harris waved a magic amnesty wand, taking people and giving them legal status. That is.
Now, here's the thing, right? This part, what JD Vance is talking about right here, I agree with this. He's being accurate with this. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And this is what I'm talking about when I always mention how it's different how somebody entered the country versus what their status is now. Their status as it is right now does not always reflect their entry to the country. And if they entered the country illegally, then that should be dealt with by law enforcement, regardless of what the current laws are for staying here. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Patrick. What's good with it, bro?
That is not to say that they're legally. That is a terrible indictment of her amnesty policies that have further opened the border and further
it's
caused
not illegal.
terrible migration into this country.
And I agree 100%. And the reason why is for exactly what we're seeing now. Because JD Vance went there, presented himself like a clown, followed through on misinformation that hadn't been vetted, being emotional and running with his heart on his sleeve, he has now turned this entire conversation into a joke, which if people go in that are supposed to be professionals and they go in with an agenda, allegedly, to get certain things discussed, and you talk about something wild and nonsensical instead of actual, factual, verifiable information, to me, it tells me that that individual is trying to throw the conversation. So like I was saying yesterday, if somebody like JD, and honestly, to me, I'm questioning whether Trump is trying to throw the conversation, because why would you just start screaming like a madman about unfounded rumors? Why would you do that if you weren't purposely trying to sabotage what we got going on? You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make sense, give me a thumbs down.
You might not agree with the policy, and obviously you don't, which is totally fair and legitimate.
So now everybody always likes to use that word agent, right? I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say when it comes to this whole situation right here, Trump and Vance moving like agents. They're moving like they're trying to tank the election on their own so that Kamala Harris can get voted in and just go ahead and do what she's gonna do. Because there's no possible way. They said that Tulsi Gabbard was supposed to be helping Trump with the debate. We didn't see Tulsi Gabbard do any of this when she debated Kamala Harris. So we know that he didn't get that strategy from Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard successfully, definitively beat Kamala Harris in a debate. And it didn't look like he took anything out of the Tulsi Gabbard playbook.
There are policy disagreements all the time, but the fact is it is the law, because President Biden and Vice President Harris are. But I don't want to frankly go down this conversation about policy,
Dana,
because
you made a point. You don't. I agree. You don't want to talk about policy.
No,
Dana,
what I
want to
talk about,
instead of about the fact,
Senator, it was your distraction.
Dana, granted amnesty,
you were the one who started talking about eating dogs and cats.
Level.
You were the one who.
Real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I
60
appreciate you
million.
guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and also please share this stream to your social media. All right. We got 20 people watching. Shout out to y'all. And we got 26 likes. We need 6 more people watching to get the quality control to 1-to-1. That'd be great. Hit that like button. Share the stream. If you've done it already and you're enjoying the content, throw some flames in the chat. Let's get it.
Cats, and I talked about it because you were ignoring this community. My constituents talked about it.
Have you been
to
Springfield?
My responsibility to surface their concerns when the American media.
Have you been to
ignores it.
Springfield?
Dana, I've been to Springfield probably 100 times in my life.
How about
I've taken
recently,
my children
since
to
you've
get
heard
ice
this?
cream at Young's Jersey Dairy.
Have you heard recently since you've gotten these calls?
Have I been in the last 4 days?
No,
I
I'm
haven't
talking
been in
about
the last 4 days, but I've
since
talked
you've
to a lot
gotten
of
these
people in
calls from the
Springfield, Dana,
constituents.
and they're telling me this stuff is happening. Dana, would you like to ask me questions and then let me answer them, or would you like to debate me on these topics? I noticed that when you had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, you gave them multiple choice answers to the questions that you asked, and you allowed them to answer the questions. I'm happy to be here to talk about policy, but if you're going to interrupt me every single time that I open my mouth, then why am I even doing this? So please ask a question, and I'd ask you to be polite enough to let me answer it.
Yes, I am, and I think that if Kamala Harris
Oh man.
and Tim Walz were making unsubstantiated claims that had racist undertones about people eating dogs and cats, and they didn't answer the questions about that, then I would have similar interactions with them. As you know, I am very grateful that you come on the show, as I am for other Republicans. But this is something that you're hearing from constituents. I did a lot of reporting. I talked to people in Ohio over the weekend, and they're really worried about these claims. The policies, yes, I am agreeing with you that what I heard is that there is concern that these migrants, there's a lot of them, and the integration isn't being done fast enough and well enough. And that's a totally legitimate conversation. But there are other conversations that are happening. Aiden Clark, who is an 11-year-old boy who was killed in Springfield last year. It was a car accident involving a Haitian immigrant. You said that he was murdered. His father said that's not true. It was an accident. Here's what he said to you.
Politicians, Bernie Moreno, Chip Roy, J.D. Vance, and Donald Trump, they have spoken my son's name and used his death for political gain. This needs to stop now. They are not allowed, nor have they ever been allowed to mention Aiden Clark from Springfield, Ohio. I will listen to them one more time to hear their apologies.
Senator, he's asking for you to apologize. Will you?
Now, let me ask you guys this, and I think I asked this in the last reaction to this. How many of you guys think that J.D. Vance is going to apologize for using the story about that kid who got deleted as part of his political tactics? If you guys think that he's going to apologize, give me a thumbs up. If you guys think he's not going to apologize, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to Patrick. I agree 100%. Like I said, when it comes to the mainstream media, for the most part, every major TV channel except for Fox is 24/7 pro Kamala Harris propaganda and anti-Trump and Vance bashing. And it doesn't give the news accurate, which is one of the reasons why, like you guys know, in most of my content that I do, I use local news. For one, because it's closer to the area, and for two, in most cases, they usually don't have these type of slants. In some cases, you do get these type of slants, but for me, the local news seems to be a lot better with not having this kind of nonsense in it. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Dana, first of all, my heart goes out to the Clark family, and I don't bring their son's name up because they've clearly expressed a preference for politicians to not bring their son's name up. I wish them all the best. I can't believe what kind of a tragedy they've experienced, but I'm still going to keep on talking about what the migrants have done to Springfield, Ohio, and what Kamala Harris's open border has done to Springfield, Ohio. And Dana, I think this illustrates the entire contrast between how we're trying to go about this debate and how a lot of the Democrats are trying to go about this debate. They're talking about 12 Proud Boys marching in Springfield, Ohio. They're talking about the frankly fake debunkings of a lot of these stories that are out there. I'm talking to my constituents and I'm hearing terrible things about what's going on in Springfield, and Kamala Harris's open border policies have caused these problems. The hospitals are overwhelmed, Anna. The schools are overwhelmed. The local services are completely overwhelmed. You have people who can't afford housing. Homelessness has gone up. Murders are up by 81% because of what Kamala Harris has allowed to happen to this small community. I'm going to keep on talking about that. Now, of course, we can criticize violence. We can also still talk about the problems that are happening in Springfield, and we should be able to do both those things simultaneously, Dana.
Just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the firsthand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys.
Now, again, if you ask me, that statement is highly problematic because we got to ask the question, at what point, how far do you go with the stories, and what do you deem appropriate to create stories about? Who regulates the stories, and how do the stories get checked? If you guys would agree, that's extremely problematic give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's problematic and you guys think that this is a okay and normal tactic to use, then give me a thumbs down. Me personally, what this basically says is it's okay to lie, and we can make the truth a lie to get the focus on other things. I don't think that that's okay. I don't think that's a good tactic to use at all. I don't think that that sets a good precedent. I don't think that that's a good idea as a leader to tell people that he could be leading in the future, that I'm willing to go to this extent. And usually, I'm not a big fan of JD Vance, but I think that JD Vance really handles himself. He does a good job at keeping control of these interviews that he gets in, regardless of where he's at them. And I think he kind of, I don't know how he can justify this right here. To me, this was an error on his part, in the same way the bellowing about eating cats and dogs was an error on Trump's part. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to Tedra. What's good with it, Tedra?
Are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're creating a story.
Public policy.
Now, this is funny, right? Like, this is a hilarious back and forth, because like JD Vance, like he checked her ass earlier. You know what I'm saying? He checked her and she shut her ass up. You know what I'm saying? Then she just checked his ass right there. She just checked his ass right there. Shout out to Carlton. She just checked his ass good right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Sir, you just said that you're creating this.
And he shut up. You know what I'm saying? The same way when he checked her, she just shut up and sat there. She just checked his ass, and he's just sitting there looking stupid. That's hilarious to me. He was on a roll, and then she said, "You just said you make up stories," and then he just stopped. It was like,
anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Now, shout out to Patrick. Let me see what you got, Patrick. Patrick says, Rob, I didn't see it like he's lying. I see it as he's saying create the stories as opposed to waiting on the media to report it. Okay, I see what you're saying right there. I see what you're saying, right? And I would agree. Now, had he said it the way that you typed it, I think it would have came off better, as opposed to just saying we're going to quote unquote create stories. From what you're saying, your paraphrasing of it, is written more clear and effectively than how he said it. And the way that he said it, it kind of leaves a little bit of shade. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't disagree with that. But if I were gonna say it, I would have tried to phrase it more so the way that you wrote it versus the way that he said it. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said it's like cousins fighting to me. I know, right? That's what it looked like. That's what it looked. That's why I'm laughing.
Dana, the evidence is the firsthand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way,
shout out to Carlo.
I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you
see now here's where he messed up at. And Patrick, I want you to tell me what you think about this. I would have said, if I have to bring attention to stories myself to get the mainstream media to act on those stories, then I will. I wouldn't have said create. I would have said, if I need to bring attention to stories that the mainstream media is not giving the appropriate attention to, that are causing suffering of people in American communities, I'm going to do that, since the media is not going to do it. That's what I would have said. I wouldn't have said I'm going to quote unquote create stories. And the reason why I wouldn't have said that is because when it comes to these type of situations, and especially with dealing with the media, you got to be very close-ended to where you leave as little amount of interpretation on their end as you can, because if you make a statement and put the statement out there to the media, if you do not close the ends of it and you leave it to them to make the interpretation, it's going to be the exact same way as if a fight goes to the judges. You had the opportunity to knock the person out and it would have been definitive. But if you leave it up to the judges, now it's up to somebody else to determine or interpret the fight and see if you won. It's up to everybody else to interpret what was said and see what he meant. And your interpretation, which I wouldn't disagree with you, right? Your interpretation is a more favorable interpretation to the one that we know the media who's biased against these guys is going to take. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
You
Shout out
again
to
started
DeAndre.
this
What's good
in
with you,
part
bro?
by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is
right? That's exactly what I'm saying, Patrick. That's you nailed it. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's more clear. And the way he said it, they can say, oh, look, he said create stories and as in make up. And they already know that one of the big things that they try to push against Trump is they try to label him as a mis and disinformation agent. So it's almost like by him doing this, he like fell on top of the bullseye, which Trump fell on top of the bullseye by, you know what I'm saying, having the cat eating glitch. You know what I'm saying? This
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
I'm telling you, on the remix, they gotta have Crime Mob, they gotta have Trillville. They got to have Lil Flip. They got to have Manny Fresh. They got to have BG and Young Turk, and the remix about to be lit. The remix about to be lit. They got to have a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of rappers from Louisiana on there. That then it'll be lit.
a rumor that has no base?
Shout out to
basis with
Unsung One. What's
evidence?
good with it, bro?
Dana, the evidence is the firsthand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump.
Look, they could get a little verse. They could get a little verse from Mystical. I'm in jail because that cat. I can't pay no bail because that cat. I'm in jail where it ain't no cat at. But when I get out, I'm gonna eat that cat. You know what I'm saying? And then the chorus come in. Trump.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
Then Currency come on there. You know she like my style. Eat the cat. Make them whiskers go meow. Lit.
Trump and I start talking about cat memes. If I have to,
But it
if
wasn't
I have
just a
to
meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her.
Yeah, well, shout out to Katsy. I don't know, Katsy, if you're talking to me or talking to Patrick. If you're talking to me, what I'm saying is that how he said it right now can be twisted, right? I don't know how he meant it. That's the problem with interpretation. When I'm listening, I'm taking it literal, exactly what he said. Now, if you take what he said literal, that literally means to make stuff up, right? I'm making up a story, right? Nobody makes up a story that's real. That's why you got to make it up. I wouldn't be interested in making up stories. I would bring attention to the existing issues, which is why that's how I would have said it. There's no need to, it's the same thing that I said with any of the, when the false reports come out. There's no need for any of that because there's actually legit stories. We don't need to make anything up because we got plenty of stories to draw from. 8 to 10 car accidents, people getting deleted in reckless driving and it's not being prosecuted, putting a strain on local resources. There's plenty of issues that can have more attention brought to them, right? So that's what I would have said. Me personally, I don't think anything needs to be quote unquote made up about what's going on in Springfield or any of these places that are dealing with migrant crisis, because there's already information out there about it. The problem is, which is what I would have said, to throw the problem back on the media, they're not putting attention to it. Why is it that, YouTubers who have limited resources are covering these special topics to more detail than multi-million-dollar media conglomerates? They're not focusing the attention on these things. And the reason why they're not focusing the attention on these things is because they're biased towards one candidate. And if you put the attention on these problems that I'm listing here, it's going to make the candidate that you favor look bad. That's what I would have said if I was JD Vance. You know what I'm saying? So, and also in saying what I said, I mean what I said. And I don't think that they're, somebody, of course, they would have been pushed back. They got to defend themselves, but nobody's going to be able to say, well, you're willing to make things up to get your point across. No, I'm willing to put attention on things that are already in existence so that other people can see them. And so that maybe it will motivate you to cover these things that need to be covered. I don't need to fabricate anything. When I'm listening to what JD Vance is saying, I'm hearing fabrication. You know what I'm saying? Now, in all fairness, that's just what I'm hearing. Again, that may not be what he meant, right? And Patrick, his interpretation of what JD Vance said is just as legitimate as mine. However, that's the problem when there's an interpretation, because neither I nor Patrick know if what either one of us interpreted him to say is exactly what he meant. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it don't make any sense, give me a thumbs down.
Talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that
ought
you're
to be
creating
talking
a
about
story.
public policy.
Hey, that should be a drop.
Sorry, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
Hey, that should be a drop right there. Like his shoulders sank down and everything. See how he all perked up right there? She says, "You're creating a story," and he just like deflated.
Deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that
ought
you're
to be
creating
talking
a
about
story.
public policy.
Sorry, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you
Yes.
created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not.
We are
accurate.
creating. Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield.
Okay, so now with the follow-up, right, with him saying, I'm creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focus on it. Now I think Patrick's interpretation was more accurate than mine. Listening after that clip right there, I gotta say, Patrick's interpretation is more accurate than mine. I think Patrick nailed it, and my interpretation was wrong. Because he went on and clarified right here. But see, you can't even give him a clip, though. That's the problem. Like, you can't even give him a clip. You got to hit the target all the time. They still trying to play that bloodbath, talking about that was Trump threatening violence. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's so important to be very careful with how you use your words.
Of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that
ought
you're
to be
creating
talking
a
about
story.
public policy.
Sorry, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you
Yes.
created. So the eating dogs
We
and
are
cats thing is not.
We are
accurate.
creating. We are. Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming
Now,
into
I
Springfield.
want y'all to read this body language. You see how he turned his head to the side and said, Dana? He realized at that point what he had said, and he realized he had to make sure that he, tried to, clean it up. But, it's going to be too late. They're going to take the first little clip.
who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
But it
if
wasn't
I have
just a
to
meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just
We
said that
ought
you're
to be
creating
talking
a
about
story.
public policy.
Sorry, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you
Yes.
created. So the eating dogs
We
and
are
cats thing is not.
we are
accurate.
creating, Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents.
right there?
I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media.
He realized that he said it wrong.
Focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's policies. Her policies did that. But yes, we created the actual focus that allowed the American media to talk about this story and the suffering caused by Kamala Harris's policies.
Do you condemn the Proud Boys, even if it's just 12, even if it's just one marching in Springfield?
Dana, I condemn all white supremacists. I'm obviously not. I'm married to a non-white person. I don't like these people, but I think that we have to.
That doesn't make you not a white supremacist, bro. You know what I'm saying? I again, I want y'all to pick this, and I'm gonna just say this, right? This is one of the reasons why I believe that quote unquote DPing is a fundamentally flawed issue, because these people judge not being a quote unquote white supremacist by where they go with their intimacy. That's the first thing that they'll say, whether it's who they like, whether it's who they're with, whether it's, I have a friend or a family member. The fact that they associate that with disassociating themselves from that, I don't understand. Like to me, again, it's just more proof of the thin black line. It's just more proof of the idea that all of these ideas, including ideas that many of us have adopted, literally all are rooted in this type of ideology. And my opinion for people is to reject all of these ideologies. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Again, think about this, right? I want y'all to think about this. You can say that you're not a white supremacist because you're married or dealing with somebody that's not white, right? Now, how many people know misogynists and chauvinists who are married to a woman? Most misogynists and chauvinists deal with women. That's how they get the label, right? So that would be crazy for a person to say, I'm not a misogynist, I'm not a chauvinist, I'm married to a woman, I love women. It's the same thing. Just because you're married to a woman doesn't mean that you respect and love all women. So these kind of blanket nonsensical statements, they don't hold any weight and they don't make sense. And what's interesting about it is, like, on the extreme ends of this kind of stuff, you hear the same type of like Umar Johnson-esque rhetoric. And it's like, but these points, like, they fail. They don't make sense. Let me ask you guys a question. If you're married to your wife and you beat the brakes off of your wife every day, like in most domestic violence situations, can you then go to a judge and the judge says you're a narcissist, you're an abuser, you're a womanizer, and you say, I can't be a womanizer, I can't be a chauvinist, I can't be a misogynist because I'm married to a woman? Does that make any sense? But somebody can then say, well, I'm not, a racist or whatever because I'm married to somebody that's not black or that's not white. That doesn't make any sense. You can't use somebody that you're with as a disqualifier. Your behaviors and your actions only and a pattern of maintaining those behaviors and actions, whether those actions are being a normal, decent human being, or whether those behaviors are a consistent pattern of racism and anti-blackness, you know what I'm saying? Your behaviors are what are your determinant. Simp ideology makes it where it's determinant on whatever you're going in or whatever you, not necessarily whatever you came out. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical and it doesn't hold up. And I agree with Patrick. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said he's married to his Indian wife. That doesn't exempt him from hating Black Americans. And technically, as we know from the United States, speaking of immigration, Customs and Immigration Services, the courts, Indian people fought to be classified as white. So on paper, they're not in a interracial relationship. On paper, they're in a, white man, white woman relationship. On paper. Would you, if you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. So, I mean, this is what I'm saying right here. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. How can so check this out then. How can a LGBTQ male be a misogynist based on this kind of logic? Based on this kind of logic, an LGBTQ male, what would they be, a misogynist, or what would they be? It don't make any sense. Things got to make sense. And this is logic that could easily be knocked down. You know what I'm saying?
To keep our focus, not on 12 marchers going down the street, but on the fact that thousands of residents have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's policy. I find this very unusual, Dana, that the American media is more interested in a bunch of losers marching down the street than they are in the fact that Kamala Harris has made these people's lives worse. I'm not talking about 12.
Now, I didn't hear anything. I heard the KKK was going to Springfield. I didn't hear nothing about the Proud Boys. Did y'all hear anything? If you guys heard about the Proud Boys going to Springfield, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't hear about the Proud Boys going to Springfield, then give me a thumbs down. I didn't hear anything about that.
Proud Boys, I'm talking about 40,000 residents, 40,000 constituents of mine, many of whom can't afford housing and food because of Kamala Harris's open border. That is what I want to focus the media's attention on. We're going to keep on doing it because I think the American people deserve a government that puts their interests first. Can I make just one more final point about this, Dana?
Yes,
You've heard a lot of the media focusing on every possible distraction from the story in Springfield. You've heard them focus on these Proud Boys marches. You've heard just
shout out to DeAndre. Yeah, because here's the thing, right? It's a lot of people that supporting Trump and Vance. And like I said, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got their flaws, but the people that support Trump and Vance, they really kind of quiet on the flaws. They'll run with this and say, this is correct. And it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And you gotta, you know what I'm saying? That'll tell you something about the people that supporting. Like, yo, if you see something that's not right, it's not right, regardless of if you support the person or not. So what that says is, like, similar to him, they'll just go with the flow in order to get what they want. And to me, that's not the best. I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. And this right here, to me, it kind of exposes it. But, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Kamala Harris and them is worse. I mean, this is bad, right? Like, this, I don't think that people really understand, like, how bad the election is this year. You know what I'm saying? The election is bad that these guys actually address certain issues that are of interest to us. And the other side is just crazy with just the radical, insane ideologies, wanting men to be in bathrooms with little girls and all kind of weirdness. That's ridiculous. And it doesn't matter how they try to frame it. That's exactly what they want. We can show evidence of it. And again, the same way they changed the definition, allowing people to stay in the country, they've changed the definition of what gender and sex are and what qualifies you as what. So you could have a beard on, right? You could stand in front of a toilet and pee and wear a sundress and go into a bathroom with women. Oh, we changed the definition. And if you don't use our definition, you're going to get canceled. Same way as you entered the country illegal, but we're going to change the definition to where now you can stay in the country legal. And if you mention anything about the legality of how this person got into the country, well, then it's hate speech. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Well, if you guys agree that this makes no sense, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down.
Just in this interview, Dana, the suggestion that because some psychopath is calling it a bomb threat, somehow we have to then ignore 40,000 Springfieldians who are having their lives worsened by Kamala Harris's policies. Well, what is the implication, Dana? I actually love to have this conversation right now live on air.
Right.
What is the implication when you say you calling out these problems has caused a bomb threat? You accused me of causing a bomb threat. Doesn't that mean you should shut up about the residents of Springfield? Don't you realize you're engaged in basic propaganda to silence the concerns of American citizens?
I was quoting the actual mayor of Springfield, Ohio, begging after the bomb threats, begging federal officials, to please stop putting negative attention on his city. And I'm not talking about the policies. I'm not talking about the very real challenges that Springfield has. I'm talking about baseless rumors about Haitians eating dogs and cats. And that after that was said on a debate stage, that is when these bomb threats started. And that is a fact. Senator, I just want to move on. I have two other quick issues separate from this that I want to talk to you about.
Dana,
go ahead.
Again,
please go ahead.
I think this is actually an important conversation. Okay. Look, the Springfield mayor, he's dealing with a lot of terrible things. I certainly sympathize with the guy, and we're going to try to help him out. But he did not accuse me of inciting a bomb threat. He just didn't. And if
facts, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with DeAndre, this is a bad look for both sides. Give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with that, give me a thumbs down. And I want you guys to pay very close attention because we watch this stuff like a hawk, and both sides look absolutely horrible. I would say that on the looking wise, they both look absolutely horrible. As far as quote unquote policy wise go, I would say that Trump and Vance got the edge. But what's even crazier about it is that if you're somebody that's not going to vote or not taking part in the election because you're not satisfied by any of this, or there's none of this that you feel will create any better situation for you, you've got people out there attempting to try to shame you and bully you into doing what they want you to do. I'm not going to do what people want me to do, right? I wouldn't advise any of you guys, if you've got your mind made up, if you're going to vote for Trump, vote for Trump. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. If you're going to vote for Kamala Harris, don't let anybody try to bully you into voting a different direction. If you're hitting the couch, don't let anybody try to bully you. We're not out here getting bullied. And the problem is that you got people online and people all over the place who are trying to bully people who have legitimate reasons for making the actions that they plan on doing. And what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, is ain't nobody over here getting bullied. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting, you saw what happened when people trying to make videos about me talking wild and talking crazy, right? You think I changed anything up? Nope. I'm a bully to bully. And that's how I advise everybody to be. That's how I advise everybody to be. Never let anybody try to bend you out of your will unless you want to go there yourself. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down.
If we're going to take the firsthand accounts of people who are on the ground in Springfield, why don't you bring on some of the people on your program who say that the migrants are eating their pets? You're applying a double standard here. You're saying if one person accuses J.D. Vance, I'm going to take that person's word as the gospel truth, even if you misrepresent it. If you have another person who's saying they're eating the cats, you're going to completely ignore them, attack them, silence them, and harass them. That double standard is why that people don't trust the media and why we're not talking about public policy 51 days out from a presidential election.
Okay, if you have somebody you want to tell us about who has proof that somebody ate their cat, of course we want to hear that. We certainly have had no evidence that that is actually something that happened. And I just want to say, I have not accused you of anything. I am quoting the mayor who said after these bomb threats, federal politicians are negatively spinning our city. They need to know they are hurting our city. It was their words that did it. Okay, that I'm quoting him, and it seems to be a
Dana,
cause and effect.
Roll the tape. You just accused me of inciting a bomb threat. There's no evidence of this. I condemn violence and threats of violence. We should be able to do that and also still talk about what's going on in Springfield.
I'm glad.
All right, so there's that. I thought that was a pretty interesting exchange, and honestly, I don't think very much came out of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think very much came out of that exchange. So how many people knew that Kamala Harris sat down with the National Association of Professional Black Journalists for an interview? She did. The interview's out. It's on YouTube. We'll probably take a look at it at some point. All right. So we're going to see what she said. Harris calls, quote unquote, hateful rhetoric surrounding Springfield a crying shame. Now, I wonder if she talked about what she plans on doing if she wins. We can make our own judgments about what's going on in Springfield. What are you going to do if you win the election?
It's a crying shame. I mean, my heart breaks for this community. You know, there were children, elementary school children, who it was school photo day. You remember what that's like? Going to school on picture day? Who were dressed up in their best, got all ready, knew what they were going to wear the night before, and had to be evacuated. Children. A whole community put in fear.
So I think what's interesting about this is that the way that she's discussing it as if the community was just put into fear because of the bomb threats. But she's not addressing the fear that that community had as a result of the population changes from the migrant influx that she's directly responsible for. So as it applies to Kamala Harris, we can only acknowledge fear when it's fear that's not caused by some actions that she did or didn't do. That's interesting.
And I'll say a couple things about it. One, you know, I learned a long time ago in my career.
Uh-oh. I guess the video just got tired of her. I guess the video just got tired of her. All right, hold on real quick, guys. Here we go. It's back. Let's see, hold on. Let's try it again.
It's a crying shame. I mean, my heart breaks for this community. You know, there were children, elementary school children.
Now, here goes the thing. She says that her heart breaks for this community, but her policies are the reason why the community is in the situation that it's in. Would you guys agree? If you guys would agree that it's almost directly her fault why the community is in the situation that it's in, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree and you don't think that that's why the community is in the shape that it's in, give me a thumbs down. She's directly responsible. What's she talking about? Somebody make it make sense. How do you make this make sense?
Who it was school photo day. You remember what that's like? Going to school on picture day? Who were dressed up in their best, got all ready, knew what they were going to wear the night before, and had to be evacuated. Children. A whole community put in fear. And I'll say a couple things about it. One, you know, I learned a long time ago in my career, having a background as a prosecutor, when you have these positions, when you have that kind of microphone in front of you, you really ought to understand at a very deep level how much your words have meaning. I learned at a very young stage in my career that the meaning of my words could impact whether somebody was free or in prison.
So now, knowing how much energy she puts into her words and knowing how she places such importance on her words, when she said she's not going to do anything specifically for Black people, no, we should assume that she put all of the energy and all of the knowledge and skill and life experience that she's talking about here into that phraseology, right? We should make that assumption because she's saying that that's how she deals with her words, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
As Attorney General, I was of California, fifth largest economy in the world. I was acutely aware that my words could move markets. When you are bestowed with a microphone that is that big, there is a profound responsibility that comes with that. That is an extension of what should not be lost in this moment, this concept of the public trust.
Okay, so there's that. All right, so let me pause that real quick. All right, and so it says, Harris calls hateful rhetoric surrounding Springfield a crying shame. Kind of like her vice presidency, right? Let's see how long this is. Yeah, it's not that long. Vice President Harris called the hateful rhetoric around Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, a crying shame, and said Tuesday that her quote-unquote heart aches over the threat of violence in the city. Now, I think that it's interesting that her heart doesn't ache over the strain of what's going on to the city. It's a crying shame, literally, what's happening to those families, those children in that community, Harris said in an interview with the National Association of Black Journalists in Philadelphia. She added that former President Trump and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, are leaning into quote-unquote racist tropes after amplifying false claims that migrants were abducting and eating pets, despite the local police department repeatedly saying no such claims had merit. And we'll be going into some of the details about that stuff in the stream that's going to go down a little bit later on, okay? When you are bestowed with a microphone that is that big, there is a profound responsibility that comes from that, Harris said. It means that you have been invested with the trust to be responsible in the way you use your words, much less how you conduct yourself, and especially when you have been and then seek again to be the president of the United States of America. On September 9th, Vance posted on social media that, quote unquote, Haitian immigrants were eating people's pets around the city. Then, during last week's presidential debate, Trump repeated the claims while answering a question related to the border. Though city officials have dismissed the claims, schools as well as City Hall have faced more than 30 bomb threats since Springfield has been thrust into the national spotlight. All right. So we'll be talking about those bomb threats a little later on as well. All right. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. We got 21 people watching. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. We got 21 people watching and we got 33. We need 12 more people watching to get to the 1-to-1, and let's try to get the likes to about 50. All right. After multiple school evacuations, authorities will now conduct daily sweeps of schools. You say you care about law enforcement resources are being put into this because of these serious threats that are being issued against the community that is living a productive, good life before this happened and spewing lies that are grounded in tropes that are age old, Harris said. I know that people are deeply troubled by what is happening to that community in Springfield, Ohio, and it's got to stop. And we've got to say that you cannot be entrusted with standing behind the seal of the President of the United States of America, engaging in hateful rhetoric that, as usual, is designed to divide us as a country, she added. All right. So what I find interesting, and we'll look at this because we're going to actually watch this. All right. If you guys are interested in doing a reaction to this actual interview, give me a thumbs up. Shout out to the people that watch on the replay, gang. also type in if you guys want to see a reaction to it. We will probably react to this. And I'm curious if she addressed any concerns about Tren De Aragua. Shout out to Coco Tinkerbell. Coco Tinkerbell says, that's the thing about it. They're not eating them. They are doing rituals with the animals. Prove me wrong. I'd like some evidence that they are. So if you got some, if you hit the Discord link, join it and send it to me. Join the Discord and send it to me so I could show some video of it or do a live stream about it. I haven't come across anything. I've come across only a woman in Canton, Ohio, who actually ate a cat, who wasn't Haitian. And then there's the original rumor that was made up by a woman named Erica Lee. It just exploded. Springfield woman claims she never meant to spark false rumors about Haitians. The woman behind an early Facebook post that helped spark baseless rumors about Haitians eating pets told NBC News that she feels for the immigrant community. Now, she says that she feels for him, but she started the rumors. The woman behind an early Facebook post spreading harmful and baseless claims about Haitian immigrants eating local pets that helped thrust a small Ohio city into the national spotlight says she had no firsthand knowledge of any such incident and is now filled with regret and fear as a result of the ensuing fallout. And a lot of these people, it seems like a lot of them are dealing with those feelings. That young man who was at the city council meeting, Anthony Harris, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's his name. We saw him walk back some of the things that he said. It exploded into something I didn't mean to happen. Erica Lee, a Springfield resident, told NBC News on Friday. Lee recently posted on Facebook about a neighbor's cat that went missing, adding that the neighbor told Lee she thought that the cat was the victim of an attack by her Haitian neighbors. Now, where she got the evidence from this at has yet to come up. NewsGuard, a media watchdog that monitors for misinformation online, found that Lee had been among the first people to publish a post. All right, so she was among the first people to publish a post on social media about the rumor, screenshots of which circulated online. The neighbor, Kimberly Newton, said she heard about the attack from a third party. So again, this is the problem with hearsay. This is the problem with hearsay. Newton told NewsGuard that Lee's Facebook Newton told NewsGuard that Lee's Facebook post misstated her story and that the owner of the missing cats was an acquaintance of a friend rather than her daughter's friend. Newton could not be reached for a comment. Lee said she had no idea the post would become a part of a rumor mill that would spiral into the national consciousness. She has since deleted the Facebook post. Now, I don't know why people do this, and I don't know why they delete the Facebook post when this kind of stuff happens, because people will still be able to find your account. So I don't understand what's the point. If you don't delete your whole account, why would you just delete the post? They still know who did it. They got all these articles out here. They can't run from it. And I mean, if you actually believe it, I mean, if I posted something and it was controversial and, people was quoting my Facebook account and people was blowing my stuff up or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do about it? Keep sending notifications to my phone, posting stuff on the comment section? I mean, that's fine. But I mean, this is what I saw. This is what I feel. I'm not going to make the post disappear because people don't like what I said. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Other posts have also contributed to the false allegations, including a photo of a man holding a dead goose that was taken in Columbus, but was spread by some online as quote-unquote evidence of the claims about Springfield. Graphic video of a woman who allegedly deleted and tried to eat a cat was also found to have not originated in Springfield, but in Canton, Ohio, and does not have any connection to the Haitian community. Now, here's my question, right? Again, if there is evidence of this stuff, I got no problem with posting it. Where's the evidence at? I've played the 911 calls that have all come out. And mind you, when it comes to this channel, shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen had dropped a link to the story about the TikTok influencer. That was a story that I've been following, right? But aside from this, I find all my own information. I don't really get many submissions in my Discord about this type of content. There's people in here. Shout out to Tedra. Shout out to Patrick. Shout out to Katsy. Shout out to DC Precise. Most of the people, Black Freethinker, most of the people that are in here, Jay Bird, are in the Discord. And they can attest that, yeah, not a lot of submissions come in about this type of content. So, again, plenty of evidence about Tren De Aragua, right? He worked for the city. He was removing roadkill. Plenty of evidence about Tren De Aragua. Plenty of evidence about MS-13. There was a Haitian who I did a story on a long time ago before anybody cared about the Haitian immigrants. That was that individual who violated the child that they talked about in that short video from Fox. I need evidence of this stuff. JD Vance and Trump look crazy right now. They look crazy right now. The only reason I'll ever look crazy is if people just want to believe I'm crazy and they go around repeating something because they can't make what they want to happen happen. Aside from that, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I look crazy because people want to hear certain things. I'm not going to do that. I will never do that. You know what I'm saying? That causes harm. Let me ask you guys this question. Have JD Vance and Trump advanced the conversation about the migrant crisis, or have they deteriorated it? How does it help? Everybody thinks that Trump is going to do these mass deportations. How does it help him making it look like he needs to be in a straitjacket so people will see these crazy clips and they say this dude's crazy and then decide to vote for Kamala Harris? It's emotionalism. I don't operate on emotionalism. I operate on facts, evidence, and data. So if there's facts that support something, I'll be more than happy to present the facts. But as of right now, there's been no presentation of facts. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says local police and city officials have repeatedly said there is no evidence of such crimes in Springfield. But again, like I said, referencing the situation that took place in Colorado, just because the local officials say something doesn't mean that it's true or accurate. So you got to take that into consideration. But that hasn't stopped the lies from spreading across the country and igniting a national frenzy that has landed on the presidential debate stage this week. Former President Donald Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, who was born less than an hour away from Springfield, have repeated the baseless allegations. Lee said she never imagined her post would become fodder for conspiracy theories and hate. I'm not a R word, she said through heavy emotion. So again, I don't understand. Why is it, again, they say that we're so race obsessed, but literally the first thing that they say in response to anything is, I'm not a racist. Let me ask you guys this question. When something is of a topic of debate and the first thing that somebody says is, I'm not a racist, doesn't that seem like guilt talking? I don't think anybody said that any of these people was racist. But they're all like, well, I didn't say that I'm racist. Oh, I mean, you're not talking about a race. You're talking about an ethnicity of people. You're talking about Haitians. Haitian isn't a race, right? So why are you saying you're not racist? Would you guys agree? When is the last time Haitian was a race? So again, it's the very people that attempt to always say that we're race obsessed who lead with, I'm not racist. Just say what you got to say and call it a day. So then here we go. Here we go. It's got to be related to family, friends, and intimacy. Adding that her daughter is quote unquote half black and she herself is a mixed race and member of the LGBTQ community. And again, none of that matters. Is that some type of disqualifier? We just did a video where we looked at Sneeko, you know what I'm saying, doing the 1408. Look at Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines just recently posted a tweet where he's talking about the mustache guy. So, I mean, again, let me even just ask you this. Does your skin color disqualify you from being a WS? No. I don't understand why people think that that's attached to their skin. It's an ideology. I really don't understand these kind of rebuttals. They don't make any sense. Now, what's interesting about it is that, you know, a bunch of people will try to downplay it and like laugh it out of the room, but it doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Shout out to Tedra. Tedra said, has Roland Martin said anything about this? I don't think so. He might have. So now she says everybody seems to be turning it into that, and that was not my intent. I didn't even know who this lady was. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the anti-immigrant fervor in Springfield led to school and municipal building closures on Thursday and Friday after city officials received bomb threats. Lee said she pulled her daughter out of school and is now worried about her safety with so much attention on her family. She is also concerned for the safety of the Haitian community, which she said she did not intend to villainize en masse. You know, that's the same thing as pointing a pistol at somebody's head and saying, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to shoot you. I feel for the Haitian community. Feel what? She said, if I was in the Haitians' position, I'd be terrified too. Worried that someone is going to come after me because they think I'm hurting something they love. And that, again, that's not what I was trying to do. Immigrant advocacy groups have said that these kind of claims can be dangerous. And again, when they say these type of claims, the claims is not based in anything. There's plenty of claims that they could make, like the 8 to 10 car accidents that they have a day and people not getting prosecuted because of the vehicular homicide. But the thing is that these people want to carry a particular narrative, and that's what they're bending and breaking on. So they got to do what they do. They got to see to their own fate. You know what I'm saying? If you want to die on a hill of mis or disinformation and not deal with the information that's actually there, that's on you. That's your choice. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Haitian American community in Springfield, Ohio, and around the country is feeling targeted and unsafe because of dehumanizing, debunked racist conspiracy theories are being advanced at the highest levels of American politics and are still being repeated. Vanessa Cardins, executive director of America's Voice, a nonprofit for advocates for immigration reform, said in an email, one thing that I see that I find interesting about this particular situation is that the Haitians are not comparing, quote unquote, rhetoric against them to how rhetoric against people that are bluish get dealt with. And they're also not comparing it to how the AAPI community got dealt with, because all you had to do was, you know what I'm saying, like say something in regards to C-19 in the AAPI community, and they got a hate crime bill. But the Haitians, they're not really trying to rebuttal in that way. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting, you know. Now check this out. It says the false claim that black immigrants are violently attacking American families and stealing and eating their pets is a powerful old racist trope that puts a target on people's back and is turbocharged in the era of MAGA when political violence has become commonplace, which I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. And we have already witnessed violent incidents incited by such rhetoric. And the claim isn't that black immigrants are violently attacking American families by eating and stealing their pets. That's not the claim. The claim is that a population of Haitian immigrants in Springfield have become associated with some odd occurrences that people have made claims of here and there. Let me ask you guys, Who's heard any talk of quote unquote black immigrants? There's a difference between black immigrants and Haitians, right? Haitians are Haitian immigrants. Black immigrants are any black immigrant coming from anywhere. Those are two different things. Now, the Haitians can be a part of that black immigrant group, but those are two different things. Black immigrants can come from anywhere. There can be black immigrants from South America, black immigrants from Africa, black immigrants from the UK, black immigrants from Australia, black immigrants anywhere. Nobody made the claim that black immigrants are doing that. The claim was made specifically about Haitians in a specific area of Springfield, Ohio. So what the media is doing is the media is trying to get everybody involved in this and say, like, see, look, everybody's look. So again, pay very close attention to that. And again, listen, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. You know what I'm saying? As far as that go, I've never been fearful of white people having a problem with black people. I could care less. If you got a problem, stay out of my face and we'll be fine. It's just that simple. Get in my face and a lot of problems just opened up for you. That's the way that I feel. You know what I'm saying? It's not that difficult. I don't care about any of this type of rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about people having racist tropes. FAFO. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, Lee said that there are very real problems related to Springfield's population boom that caught the struggling city off guard. Springfield was not prepared to address the housing, healthcare, and other service needs that came with the sudden increase of new residents over the last 5 years when Haitians arrived. So again, you got to ask the question, they've been dealing with this for the last 5 years. Why is it just now coming to the surface now? Shout out to DSA. What's good with it? Why is it just coming to the surface now? How many of you all heard about this within the last 5 years? And if this was in the last 5 years, that would mean that this started in the last year of Trump's presidency, right? I'm just saying. Many of them with protected status under the federal law. But the problem is back then, they weren't under protected status, more than likely. Still, she never imagined that her Facebook post would set off a national news cycle. I didn't think it would ever get past Springfield, she said. Well, the internet is global. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know why people don't think that the internet is global. And again, like, who's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's supposed to feel, I mean, like, who's supposed to feel bad for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand that. Now, Patrick was asking about the man holding the goose. For one, that wasn't even in Springfield. Wasn't even in Springfield. Now, we're going to listen to this call right here, right? Because there's been calls, 911 calls, saying that somebody was holding geese and snatching geese. Now, again, have anybody ever tried to snatch some geese up? Hey, if you did it, good for you. But it's not like you're just gonna snatch some geese up and they're just not gonna do anything. For one, the one geese that you snatch up is gonna be attacking you, and the other ones that's around it, because they always roll in packs, they're gonna be attacking you too. But okay.
Clark County Communications. Yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers.
All right, so there's that. What about a description of the car? Color, make, model, year? You know what I'm saying? The viral picture of a man holding 2 geese on an Ohio street being used to fuel claims that migrants have been gobbling up pets was nothing more than a wild goose chase, according to a report. The anonymous man who was snapped carrying the bodies of 2 birds earlier this week was removing them from the street after they were hit by a car. the Ohio Division of Wildlife confirmed to TMZ. There is no evidence he was taking them home to eat or that he is a migrant, the agency said. The incident happened in Columbus, more than 45 miles away from the city of Springfield, where Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump claimed migrants were gobbling up wildlife and pets. The viral snapshot was originally shared on the Columbus subreddit in July and shows a man walking down a suburban street holding a goose. Weeks later, a Springfield resident called a 911 to report spotting 4 Haitian migrants snatching geese near a city park. Now, here go my question. You guys heard that 911 call. There was no description of the people, what they look like. I mean, Haitian, but I mean, I could tell, okay, so like this person is Haitian. So tell me what I'm thinking if I'm thinking of a Haitian person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where's the description? The person was 6 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? They had on a blue baseball hat, like we was talking about yesterday, pleated khakis, church shoes or whatever. Like there's no description. And then they didn't give a description of the car neither. I can give you the numbers, but I can't give you the letters. What about the color of the car? What about the make? Was it an SUV? Was it a truck? Was it a compact car? I mean, where's the description at? And I mean, and another thing is like this is basic stuff. Like I've never been a dispatcher in my life, but this is just basic stuff. So when people are hearing these stories, why aren't they asking basic questions? The reason that they're not asking basic questions is because they have an issue and they want to hear these things, not because they care about the migrant crisis, but because a lot of people actually hate these people. I'm not invested in hating those people. You know what I'm saying? I'm invested in the migrant crisis, and I'm invested in the clarity of information. And anybody who is invested in hatred, you can never try to shame anybody else for being emotional ever again, because hatred is an emotion that is driving you, which is why people are wanting to do illogical things like go ahead and run with debunked stories so that you can damage your credibility. People who don't operate based on emotionalism in most cases use logic and act based on information of facts and data that they find. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says Trump referenced the incident at a rally in Arizona earlier this week to bolster claims that illegal immigrants are chowing down pets. A recording of 911 calls shows residents are reporting that the migrants are walking off with the town's geese, Trump told the crowd. Now, even in that 911 call that we just listened to, it didn't say that they were eating geese. It said that they had geese in their hand. But again, they didn't give any description. Let me ask you guys, how many of y'all have ever heard a 911 call? You guys ever heard any other 911 calls before? If you watch like body cam footage, or if you watch like some live streams where they have like a dispatcher or something like that, a lot of times they're patched into the 911 line and they can get the 911 live feed dispatch. Did that sound like, now mind you, this was non-emergency, right? It was non-emergency, but did that sound like and since it was non-emergency, it should have really been a lot more clear than an emergency 911 call. I would expect a more clear and thorough description and account of what was going on a relaxed non-emergency 911 than I would in a emergency situation. Oh, this person just cut their wrist and it's just spewing blood all over the place. Hurry up and get here. You know what I'm saying? So again, you got to ask yourself too, how much are people who are accepting the misinformation contributing to the festering and the spread of misinformation? It's not just the people that are making the stories up. It's also the people that are taking it in, knowing that it's nonsense, not fact checking it and pushing it simply because they want to, because for some reason, you know what I'm saying? Getting off on that emotionalism of satisfying that hatred need. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says they're taking the geese. You know where the geese are in the park. Now, again, there's a video on YouTube where there was a guy who is from Springfield, Ohio, and he said that a lot of the claims as far as the geese and stuff like that at these parks is true. And he said that the number of geese and all that is decreased a lot. Now, here's the thing, right? I don't have any reason to believe that that individual there that made that video is lying, because in the two videos that he made, for the most part, he made very clear to say that the story from Canton and the story from that picture are fake. So he made clear distinctions of what's fake versus what's not. And then he talked about what most people aren't talking about. So initially, from him separating the fact from the fiction, I tend to believe that he might be onto something that he's saying, and it just might not be reported yet, or people don't know about it, or what. You know what I'm saying? So now here, and then again, and even walking off with their pets. So it's just, I would like to see some Ring camera footage or a cell phone video or a police report. And again, I don't have no issue if we see one. I'll be more than happy to talk about it, because that's what we need to substantiate this stuff. But I don't in any situation, I don't go off of hearsay. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You know, people can say what they want to. Oh, you caping for migrants. No, because if this was anything else, if I didn't see it with my own two eyes, I wouldn't believe it. But, you know, whatever makes you feel good, because that's what this is about, right? Making people feel good. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is I need some facts, data, and hardcore evidence before I do anything. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says local authorities have repeatedly debunked rumors, contending there's been no credible reports of pets being stolen and being eaten. Trump discussed the controversial allegations during his Tuesday debate against Vice President Kamala Harris. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of people that live there, Trump told the crowd. And he told it to them just like this.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, they saying that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, what ends up happening is that a lot of these people that keep making these claims, they just, the claims just keep getting shot down, and people just keep purposely ignoring the shooting down of these claims, which is also kind of a weird phenomenon. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They got articles about this stuff everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Here's an article from Watchdog. We'll get into this article, not in the next stream, but in another stream. Triple hearsay. Original sources of the claim that Haitians eat pets in Ohio admit no firsthand knowledge. It's hearsay. If this was hearsay in any other situation, everybody would be like, it's hearsay. But there's a different standard applied because, you know what I'm saying, we in the age of the diaspora war. So that's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Roll with the I'm white and I say so. And you know what I'm saying? Dump on other black people, because in 2024, somehow that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. If you guys not subscribed to the channel, take a moment, hit that bell, subscribe to the channel, share the stream to your social media. Hopefully, I will see you guys in the next one. Check out some of the clips. I posted up some clips. I got some new clips coming. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,